Welcome. You're now tuned in to Two Queens and a Fat Guy podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Two Queens and a Fat Guy with myself, Fat Father, aka Fit Father, and of course, the two queens of the house, Miss Jackie B, Miss Coco Butterfly. How y'all feeling?
Hey, we're feeling good. How you
Really
feeling?
good. How are
I,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't have no complaints. Except for this story that we about to talk about. And just to be clear to everybody, we just talking about things that's going on, you know what I'm saying, around the world today. And I was on my way home yesterday and I heard this on the CNN news channel, and it was talking about how situations have become so dire or conditions have become so dire in Afghanistan that fathers are selling their daughters to old men, like selling them off as brides. Now, I know that child brides, it's been out there. I know that it's been
Not a new
going
thing.
on. I know it's not a new thing, but to actually see people saying, this was my last resort. This is what I had to do. And to actually see little girls being picked up by old men and
Oh man.
and walked off with their luggage, with their bag, with their belongings, and to see a father actually tell a man who had to be, he said 55, but
That man wasn't no damn 55.
right, he looked 75,
He did.
but for the father to stand there, take the money, and then hand his daughter off and tell the man, this is your bride, take care of her. And the man say, of course I'm going to take care of her. And then to see the little girl's mother walk her to the gate with this old man, it just did something to me.
Yeah.
Like, because I heard it first. Like I said, I heard it first and I was in disbelief. So I had to then go online to watch the news, because you hearing it on the radio and you're hearing kids play. So they're first showing the little girls playing,
Playing.
and I just, man, I don't
I
know.
think what got me is when the one little girl didn't want to go, and she was like, her heels were in the dirt and they were like trying to push her and she didn't want to go. Oh my God, that's the one that got me. I cannot imagine. And when you first told me about the story, my assumption was it was teenage girls. You know, maybe I'll even say 12 and up, which is still unacceptable. The youngest that I saw in that story was 4 years old.
Yeah.
What can you do with a 4-year-old as a bride? That is,
Most of the girls or the little girls are being groomed. Most of them. And most of them are being, I'm sure, um, in some way, I don't know if they're being sexually abused, but or some of them are, and some of them aren't, but they're being groomed to be brides. So at this point, they're learning from the older women to um to take care of the men that they've been sold to.
Wow.
mm,
It's just, I just don't get, like, and I was talking to my family about this. I understand different places, different cases, different folks, different strokes. I get it. I get it. But I just don't understand how we live in a country that say that it's for everything righteous, which we know that that's a load of bullshit. You know what I'm
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
saying?
because we still haven't received reparations.
Right, right. So you're over in this country for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
providing such a false sense of security. And I say that is false because you were there for 20 years. And before you even left the ground, the people were in danger.
Mm-hmm.
People were hiding and running for
Mm-hmm.
their lives. So, what was the actual purpose of being there? Because you could have ripped this band-aid off a long time ago, but you didn't
To
want to
teach
rip.
them how to be soldiers for them, for us, right? Is that what you mean, or
I mean, yeah, that's what it seemed like, but
because
I'm
that's
saying,
what they were being taught? They were taught when we went to Afghanistan. We trained them, so they were being trained to help us fight to steal their goods from them and then leave and then vacate.
right, so were you actually being trained? Because you got to think
Yeah,
about it.
they were.
If
They were being
it,
trained.
no, what I'm saying is if I'm teaching you
Right.
to protect yourself,
Mhm.
possibly against people like me one day, I'm not going to give you 100% thorough
But you can't go
training.
against the master, can you? You can't go against the master.
No,
It's
you
the same. It's the same thing with us being in captured slaves, indentured slaves to them, right? You weren't taught to go against the master. You were taught to fight whomever the enemy was. So whomever went against God, whoever God was, whoever went against the good master who gave you the good scraps and kept you alive and allowed your wife to stay on the same plantation
Loyalty.
as
He
your
stayed loyal
sons
to
and
him.
your daughters. So you weren't taught to do that. You were only taught to go against whomever they decided was the enemy.
and I totally get that, but that's what I'm saying about you being there for 20 years
Right.
and you make see with the whole slavery shit, right? They'll sit there and they'll debate you.
For sure. For
They'll
sure.
sit there and debate you on how, yeah, we know it was wrong, but that wasn't us. That was our
Right.
ancestors. That was
Right.
those who came before us.
Right.
What we're
Right.
trying to do is make it better. But
For
what I'm
sure.
saying is, we're watching this in real time.
In real time, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So it's the
so you,
same shit, different,
yeah,
different culture, different race, different
and more cameras on.
for sure.
Yes.
So
For
you
sure.
can't deny it. So what
Right.
I'm saying is, how do you go from, hey, um, I'm waking up every day and I feel comfortable because these people are telling me that they got me and I'm
Mhm.
providing whatever service. Some of them wasn't soldiers. Some people were just intelligence and helping them on that end. To waking up one day at 4 or 5 in the morning and getting the email saying, hey, you need to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I'm not sure if we can get you the fuck out of here, but you need to get the fuck out of here. And then 2 months later, you're in a situation where you're actually saying, I'm gonna have to sell my baby.
And the food insecurity over there right now is like $20 million,
Yeah.
and it is just heart wrenching. And the thing about, someone has to advocate for children, and I know it's cultural differences. I get that, but the part that bothers me was $2,000 in the U.S. and I'm sure $2,000 in Afghanistan goes two different ways.
For sure.
But in
Mhm.
my brain, I was just could not fathom. I have a 34-year-old daughter who was once a 4-year-old. I cannot fathom selling her to someone for something that's not going to last. I mean, really, how long is that $2,000 going to last? So it just was heartbreaking. But you know what? In different countries, people are allowed to mistreat children. I remember one of my classes when I was doing my human services degree, we talked about how those rich guys would go over to these countries like Vietnam, Taiwan, and they would like buy these young kids
Mhm.
because they
Boys
could get away
included.
with it.
Boys
And
included.
that boys, even more boys.
Yeah.
So who advocates for these babies? And I get it, but I just something about the 4-year-old and something about seeing that little girl fight
But
him.
it's almost a way of culture. It's almost
Uh,
the way that in those times they would bring a cow, a goat, and a what else to your father, and he
mm-hmm.
would go off. I mean, hell, Color Purple. What did he get?
I was gonna say that too.
But you know what
I was
though?
gonna
No.
say that too.
I was thinking the same thing, but here's where the shit gets tricky. It gets tricky because I seen them babies playing like
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
It gets tricky
So
because
then
the
you have a
little
different visual of it.
and
Yeah.
the little girl said that I would rather kill myself
Yes.
than
Yeah.
to be sold. So,
And she probably will.
with that being said, those babies have an understanding of this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
for the father to get up there and say, I'm ashamed,
Mm-hmm.
that says he knows this is not right. So he can't even rest on the cultural differences because he's saying, I'm ashamed. And
Mm-hmm.
his daughter was obviously raised to know this is not right. The mother is holding her daughter's hand and crying with her daughter as she walk her away with this old man, which tells
But
me
here's the gag on that too. The mother was probably sold to the husband that she's currently with. So there's that too.
possibly,
Yeah.
Possibly.
but that makes it even deeper
Yeah.
because even with that happening to her, if it did, she
Mm-hmm.
still understands
For
that
sure.
this is not right.
For
And
sure.
my issue is with America. You know this is going on. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, you're supposed to go out here and solve all these problems, but you invaded these people land. You gave them just like you stole this fucking land. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you constantly telling us that things are getting better. I just had a discussion with my doctor who is a senior citizen Indian woman. And she proceeded to tell me, she always asking me questions and I always give it to her real. Like, first of all, I tell her I don't even 100% trust Western medicine,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm in too deep. So I have to get myself out before I
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
100% say, fuck your medicine. I
Mm-hmm.
need to
Right.
get my body back to a state to where I can take it on from here, right? So she
Right.
always say, "Why do you say that?" And I say, "Because I don't trust the system. I don't trust the powers that be behind the system." And she
Mm-hmm.
told me the other day, she said, "Well, it's getting better. We have to say that." I say, "Well, first of all, you
What's
can't
getting better for who?
For
you
who?
can't wake up on no day and tell me that it's getting better for me. Until you wake
Right.
up a black man, you can't tell me that."
That's
I
right.
said, second of all, you're watching from the VIP seats. When the last time have
Right.
you been to Puritan and Schaefer? When the last time
Right.
have you been to Mac and Bewick? When have you drove
Right.
through them neighborhoods and seen the poverty and seen
Yo,
the condition?
even up and down Woodward.
Yeah. So with that being said, you can't be the president, you can't be a Joe Biden, and you can't
Yeah.
be a congressman or congresswoman or senator and sit here and tell me that it's getting better when you're still going to land that don't belong to you and ripping it off and providing a false sense of security, and then you back up
Mhm.
and leave and say fuck it, okay, we've been here too long. And you obviously know that this type of shit is going on because your news outlets are reporting it. You're at some point
That's only
somebody's
some of
able.
it. Only
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some
that's
of it.
only some of that's only for the shit that's gonna get the ratings
Yeah.
up, but
Mm-hmm.
not totally, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
y'all still made a way to go talk to these people.
Yeah.
Y'all still made a
Yeah.
way to go talk to these little girls. At
Which
the
means
point,
it's on the back end of it. It's not even at the beginning. We're probably at the back end of what's going on because Afghanistan has been going through a bunch of bullshit since my mother went to the Gulf War.
yeah,
Yep. And I
Oh,
know that first of all, America don't give a shit about their own soldiers. I got my
right.
stories, okay?
yeah.
So I can tell you these motherfuckers told me when me and my ex-husband was going through it. The man that put his hands on me, the US Army told me, well, we don't give a shit if y'all going through it. We need you to pack your shit so you can go over to Iraq and leave your kids with this man. That's what they literally told me.
Mm.
I was like,
I believe
wow.
it.
And
I
they
believe
didn't
it.
care because
Yeah.
I was a married soldier. So their thing was because you're married, when you deploy, you send him the kids with your husband. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to. And that's why I got out because I'm like, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
The other thing is we we go and we pillage and destroy these countries and we left these people with nothing. These people $20 million in food
Scraping dirt.
insecurity.
Scraping dirt. Literally scraping dirt.
Yes. And so
Now,
there's
Yeah.
these babies are going into child marriage.
and
I'm sorry, y'all. I can't get off the 4-year-old.
listen,
The 4-year-old is just killing me. I'm sorry.
you know what's even more crazy though, and this is the scary part is this has been happening for generations,
Vietnam.
as far as going to other countries and pillaging and dropping bombs and tearing shit up and
Yeah.
then coming home. And then what you do, you come home in the same face, you'll bring a few thousand people back or send them elsewhere, right? Now going back to what you was talking about, the cultural divide, the cultural differences, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
That mean that culture is spread all through this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a daughter, and you have a daughter, and there's a lot of other daughters out there. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So if you're cool with negotiating with people, like the US was negotiating with the Taliban.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Hmm.
Well, that was the
negotiating.
point. That was the point anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, so you
Let me
basically
stop before
telling
they send a missile through my window.
you basically telling the people though, like, hey, we go kick it with these motherfuckers who
Absolutely.
obviously go fuck over y'all,
Yeah.
but we about to
Hmm.
see what we can get out of this shit. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
That's what it always has
It's
been.
I
it's
mean,
kind
that's
of
what
like
it's.
your husband is beating on you, and then your father comes to your house and you say, "This nigga hit me," and your father go in there and be like, "Look, man,
I understand what you're going through,
yeah, I
but
understand what you."
you know how she is.
Yeah,
Child.
Next time
Yes.
don't hit her so hard. Just hit her lightly.
Yep.
like, yeah, that's fucked up.
It's super
Like,
fucked up.
Yeah.
Super fucked
Yeah.
up.
so I man, I don't know. People, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't even know where this conversation where it goes, because I'm a big fan and a big believer in, when we discussing something, ultimately want to bring up possible solutions. I get it that this is going to go on far beyond me. All I could say is, from my end, I just want people to, man,
Well,
love your babies, love your family,
Yeah.
take care of
yeah.
people as much as you possibly can. And I was just telling my son, like, we pray every day. We pray every day, and we always
That's
ask God
wonderful.
for things. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But I just asked my son, I said, how many days do you wake up and ask God, what can you do for him?
Ah,
I
that's
Hmm.
said, so maybe that's the
that's good.
solution, because a lot of time we're constantly asking God for
Okay.
things, like, God, can you bless me with this? Or, God, I want this promotion, or, God, I want this raise. But how many times do you wake up and say, God, what can I do for you? And that's how I live my life. Like when,
Hmm.
Jackie, when I was telling you about the lady who told me she was hungry, and I
Hmm.
told her to meet me
Yeah.
across the street at Red Robin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if that lady really hungry, at some point she prayed. At some point, she asked God for something. So I was
Hmm.
trying to take something off God plate. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I know young hip hop artists or young artists out here who have told me they was trying to get in the studio. So I let them come in my studio. I opened it up. I've helped other artists with, whether it was their video, whether it was mixing their album, and I didn't want my name on nothing. I never spoke on it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because guess what? I've been in a position where I was praying and
Yes.
asking
Hmm.
God
Yeah.
to grant me an opportunity. So I feel like
Yes.
those people have been praying for opportunities. So if I can assist God in delivering this blessing, then that's what I'm going to do. So I don't know. I just think we need to look out for people on a broader spectrum. When we got 4-year-old girls being, and I
Being
mean,
taken advantage of.
yeah, again, I
Being taken
know this
advantage
shit
of.
has been going on. I know, because that's the first thing people hit you with. Well, you know this ain't new. You know this. I get it. I even understand that child brides are being sold in America. I
Yes.
get it, but do you keep your eyes open for it? Like, same thing I was telling my kids, when you go to school, because my son has come home and said, oh, this new girl in my class, she be staring or she be looking. I say, you don't know what the fuck she going through at the crib. For all you know,
And what she thinking about? Yeah.
she living with a 60-year-old man who
Yeah.
is saying that he's her uncle, but he done bought her from some third world country. And she was
Yeah.
brought over here and taught how to speak English and taught how to blend in with this society. You
Or
never
the
know.
school is her only refuge. The
Yeah.
school is her.
Hmm.
That's the only moment she gets a chance to be in her own thoughts.
Yeah,
Yes.
and she's probably staring at you because she has never been treated like a child. So to see you interacting as a kid or talking to her like a kid or discussing video games or TV shows is probably new to her and amazing and refreshing at the same time.
Hmm.
So this is what I told my son, you know what I'm saying? And my
Yeah.
daughter, like, so I guess maybe that's the way we combat it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
that's the only way I can see. Cause these motherfuckers gonna keep that shit just
And well, and
uh
there's some terrible shit going on here. And I worked in case management for 15 years, and I've heard some of the most heinous stories. I've literally left work and came home in tears because some of the things I've heard that my clients went through. And one of the things that always bothered me is, where were your advocates? Where were your
Hmm.
protectors? Where were your parents? My mother was a motherless child, so she's like this super huge protector and advocate for my kids. She was for us. But my mom also understands that everybody didn't have that because she didn't. So my mother had this philosophy where she always looks at, instead of pointing a finger, how can I help? And sometimes I used to tell my mom, that's going to get you in trouble. But it's like you said, what can I do, God? What can I do to help? And that's how my mother lives her life.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest. Sometimes I just want to shake her and say, "Ma, I feel like people take advantage of that." But my mama said, "But the thing is, you never know what somebody going through. You never know what somebody going through. Somebody might not want to tell you that their lights are off because they're ashamed. So if I help them, I help them, you know." And I told my mom, "Well, you know, in my younger, that's not your job." But my mom said, "You never know what somebody going through, and they may not want to share it with you." And I would have clients that would call me and say, "Well, CPS came and took my kids today." Never knew that the kids were being molested. I never had an idea that that was going on. So we just never know. And it really
Wow.
finally got to a point where I kind of got tired of listening to that type of trauma, because it will do something to you if you don't have a heart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, so you never know. And I know that these kids are going through a lot, but it's a lot of kids in America going through stuff too.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
lot of kids. Let me ask y'all this before we move on. Do y'all ever look at like the missing, when people post missing children? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see that?
I guess it depends on the race of the kid
And the
when I
Mm-hmm.
see,
age.
and the age. Yeah.
The
Okay.
age. Because when
Um.
go
Go,
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I
Go
want to
ahead,
hear
Jack.
both of your views on this because I just want to see something.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Pat.
Jackie.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, usually when it's like a teenager, the first thought
Mm-hmm.
is, are they on some teenage shit?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've all been teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been on yeah, I'm about to get the fuck on and purposely do my thing
And
because
got
I'm
into it
tired
with
of
your
it.
mama early in the day.
Yeah, you know what
Like,
I'm
Uh,
fuck it, I'm
saying?
about to show her I'm running away.
Now
the time to do some sketchy shit, that kind of
Right.
when
shit.
when it's a kid though, a not teenager, first thing I just worry, like my heart just go out. I
Yeah.
just first thing I think about is that kid being somewhere where they're not comfortable and they
Oh
are
man.
afraid.
Mm,
That's
Yeah.
the
okay.
first thing I think about. And I'm talking
My
about
first thought too.
I tie into that shit so hard where it it fucks with my day, with my life. Like
Mhm.
when the little girl
Before she
disappeared
was young,
back
one 9 or something.
some years ago, when the dude said his daughter was kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, man.
when
Yeah.
I tell you I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, that fucked me up too.
Like because as the time went, I knew that he did something to that
To
girl.
her.
The
Yeah.
story
That
wasn't adding
was
up.
terrible.
And that shit. And then when the police walked into that house
Oh,
and shot the little girl,
yeah.
because earlier that day her father took a friend up to the store to kill another boy for looking at him wrong, and then
Mm,
brought him back to the house, so the police thought he was still there. And then the little girl got shot. Like, my heart
Yeah.
melted. But I'll tell you this, and I know, Coco, I know I'm steering off the question a little bit, but
hmm.
it's something about kids. I
And I know that
it
about
hits
you.
hard. And one main thing was when my daughter was like in the second or third grade, every day when I would go pick my kids up from school, it was a mother who would be waiting out there with me. And when she first, our kids started there together in kindergarten.
Hmm.
So her little baby, her little daughter, I watched her grow up from arm baby to walking.
Right.
And we used to stand out there and we used to kick it every day. You know what I'm saying? It's usually just her husband didn't really come. You know what I'm saying? And I
Hmm.
watched these kids grow up. And then one day, you know, we turn on the news and the father was going through some mental issues, and this was in East Point. He strangled all of them with a phone charger. And the shit did something. It put me in such a place. Like, even to this day, when I look at the pictures of them, it's like, wow, like you know, you never know that they were going through that at home. You never know that that woman was going through that, or dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
Wow.
anytime I see something where a kid is in danger, a kid
Jesus.
is unhappy, like, that shit touches me
Hmm.
in such a way. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Yeah.
I got that from Miss Mirandy, my 5th grade teacher, because I saw how she cared about me. You know what I'm saying? And as I had an understanding at a young age that we're supposed to look out for each other as humans. It's
You
not,
should.
it's not about race. It's not about religion. It's not about none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's about the
Yeah.
creator. And this is what people miss. The creator didn't create religion.
Yeah.
Man created
And did.
religion. You know what I'm saying? The creator created man and gave us emotions and feelings and choices and opportunities to make things better or worse. You know what I'm saying? You got motherfuckers who take the other route, but just to see kids hurt, and that shit just, I know I just veered way off the question.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay because and I think one of the things that the reason I asked that is because I just think we have sinister people out here. And I remember years ago, the day after Thanksgiving, when these 3 little boys disappeared. They have yet to find those little boys.
I remember that.
Oh my God, that
The
oh.
father who supposedly
Mm-hmm.
took the kids to
Yep.
somewhere safe, and
Yep.
they still yet to find them or their bodies.
Yep.
I remember that.
So,
Yeah.
and I think I just said all this to say someone has to protect these children.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like even in the situation that you just spoke of, Fatt, it's the father probably has some mental health issues going
Oh,
on.
he
And
definitely did.
a lot
He
of
did.
times we do not pay attention to it. A lot of times we will talk about how crazy he is or how crazy she is.
Mm-hmm.
And the one
But
thing
no
that,
one steps in to help.
no, and when I've done it, my family would say to me, well, are you a psychologist or a psychiatrist? And now I could say, no, but I got a master's degree in it. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there. No, seriously, I had to because I would say when I saw things, I would say, well, I'm not a doctor and I'm not diagnosing, but I see this. And sometimes people, especially as African Americans, we will not address it. And I think
It's hard to
bad
address
things,
it. It's
it
hard
is.
to.
Bad things happen to all kinds of children.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I'm a little older than y'all, but I remember the Atlanta child murders and how it scared the shit out of me. And I remember y'all know what I remember thinking at that time? Black people don't do that to people. And I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
We did though. But what I didn't understand, and let me get deep, what I didn't understand then, I didn't understand that black people and just all people in general was doing fucked up shit to kids because of the way I grew up. But we have to start protecting them. We have to start recognizing stuff. Um, Schools used to be mandated to call CPS when they saw certain things. They're not doing
Mm-hmm.
it because a
They're
lot of
not
them are
doing
scared
it
of the
anymore.
parents.
Yeah.
Because
Unfortunately.
the parents would, here's the fucked up part. Those kids become us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the That is the fucked up part. We are those kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's continuing because I I even remember when I was about 6 and I had a next door neighbor and she was about 12. And I remember standing on the side of the house and my mother was in the kitchen and the window was right there. And she was like, Boz, let me see your wee wee. Right? This girl like 12, I'm like 6. I don't know what the hell going on. You know what I'm saying? I know what she's talking about, but I'm like, at this
What
point,
the
I ain't with
hell?
nobody else in. So my mama called me in the house. Boss, come in the house. Going there.
Did your
She's
mom hear it?
yeah, she heard it through the window.
Good.
So my mom said, but look, this is the fucked up information she gave me. She said, did she just ask you to see your wee wee? I said, yeah. She said, well, next time she asks you, pull it out and piss on her. So now I was really confused because I'm like, is that what she wanted, mama? I don't, but anyway, this 12-year-old girl,
Oh my God.
that's some shit for a 12-year-old girl
It's
to
more
Absolutely.
be
common than you
like,
think. It's
no,
more
I
common than you
listen,
think.
Coco, I know it's common, but what I'm saying is that 12-year-old girl became a 20-year-old girl who had 7 kids before she was 25.
Whoa, there was something going
So
on
So
there.
she's hypersexual.
Sexual. Yep.
And so something in turn probably I'm sure happened to her.
It's probably experienced something.
yeah, so those kids, I even got a line in the song where I said, old hoes were once young kids in need of attention. You know what I'm saying? Basically, the vision I was trying to give is because cats are always quick to say she a hoe, she a hoe, she a hoe. What happened?
Always.
What
Always
happened?
quick to call a woman a hoe, but never no person ever finds out what actually happened to a woman that
Yeah,
she and what is that what's actually a hoe? A woman who's in tune with her sexuality or over sexual or hypersexual.
Or how about men putting pressure on you to just keep going and going after you said no till you finally give in? But yet I'm a hoe because I finally got tired of you pushing up on me, pushing up on me. And so women
And
are
then
just
even that's different than a woman who is in tune with her body and her sexuality.
mhm,
Men can't handle women being in tune with themselves sexually. So then she's a hoe.
mhm.
But why is the big question. So,
I don't even know if we can tie that to men though. Like I don't know, and I might be being technical, but a lot of these dudes just not men. And I think
well, okay, well, I'll say, well, I won't say men
but
because
no,
there is
I
different.
know what you're saying though. That's why I
Yeah.
say I'm not, because I hate when I'm having a discussion with a motherfucker and they just get super technical. I'm like, okay, mother, you know what I meant. I'm not trying to be that guy right now. I'm just saying though, the same way these dudes are unable to identify that this woman was once a little girl who went through something,
Yeah.
maybe tells a tale about them being this young boy that
Yeah.
went through something,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's all fucked up. And that goes back to what I'm saying. These kids become us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They become the people who walking around day to day and dealing with each other and bumping into each other and working for one another and working with one another. And they become the
Trying to
pro.
coexist in this world.
Yeah, they become the pro athletes that get arrested for beating the shit out of their wife. You know what I'm saying? They become the serial killers who
Mhm.
bipolar but
Mhm.
refuse to take their medication because that type of shit was frowned upon in their household.
Or
They
know that there's something going on mentally that they cannot control but refuse to seek any type of help for it.
Mhm.
yeah, they become the rapists who were never told no, and when they were told no, they throw a tantrum and get their way. Like, so I just think we just really, like you said, Coco, we have to advocate. We have to advocate for as many as we can. I understand that none of us can do it all, but people, when you out there and you see, especially, I always felt like, I always say the boy down the street, my daughter could possibly say one day, I love him. And I'm just using that as a general term. So when I go to the school and volunteer for things or talk to the kids, everybody is somebody potential that my kids might come home and say, I'm in love with them, because one day they might be. We have to look at it like that. When we see kids, if we can volunteer, like, I'm a mentor for Spalding for Children. You know what I'm saying? That's a foster organization. And my auntie was the president and CEO of before she retired.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
you know, we haven't had a meeting in a long time because of COVID and all of that. But you would meet some of these kids and it would take, like, it was this one boy who was always quiet. And it took me about 2 months before he got comfortable with me. You could tell that he had the trust that I was coming back. He had the trust that I was being 100 with him when I was kicking it with him. You know what I'm saying? I've also went and spoken at schools and sat with classes. And it was one dude who had the same name as me. And you know, but he called himself Shabazz. That's his name, man, Shabazz. But I always correct people when they call me Shabazz. So that was kind of funny. But just meeting him and chopping it up with him and watching him become comfortable in his own skin over one conversation, where I'm just telling him, like, you know what I'm saying? It's only one you. You are one of one. You know, so any situation we can get in where we can reach these kids or try to change one life at least. It goes back to God. What can I do for you?
And I will say this, I have whined, I have complained, but over 15 years, I have changed thousands of young women from the age of 16 to probably, I think the oldest client I might have had might have been in her 60s, because she ended up getting her grandbabies. And it's something that you do get burnt out because you get tired of seeing a lot of trauma, a lot of sadness, but it's also rewarding. And it's also something that makes you feel good when you know that you made a difference.
Yeah.
And it was hard to leave that position that I had, because my first thought was, nobody gonna take care of them the way I do.
Right.
You know, and I remember being told that you just give too much, you give so much, but it goes back to what Fats was saying, someone has to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, I've had people, I had one client that had like 6 or 7 children. And she was young when she came to me. And she would come to me through the years, but she wasn't trifling. She always had a plan. She always kept a job. Something just happened down the line where she kept having babies. I admired her drive, because I had girls with one baby that wouldn't do nothing. But I always wanted to know her story and how those babies kept coming. Like, where was your support system? Was there anyone that said, hey, you know, you're great, you're this wonderful person, you don't have to keep giving yourself? So we don't never know what that person went through.
Right.
And I remember the people I work with, and I'm going to be real honest, sometimes we would have implicit bias, or we would have some bias, and we would look at people and be like, But as I will say, when I started going to school and I started to get a little more understanding, I had to learn how to put that to the side. And and I had to start looking at it. Because let me tell y'all something, a lot of people that work in social work and human service, a lot of them do it because they didn't want to do the math in college, so now they got to do social work, and they really don't know how to deal with these people. Let me keep it real and keep it funky. A lot of them don't know how to deal with the clientele that they're working with because they've never been around them, right? So when you see someone that has a bunch of kids, the first thing a person who don't have an understanding of what they may have gone through might judge them and think that they're lazy or, like you said, hypersexual. But my brain goes to something happened.
Yeah, what happened? What happened? And how can I
help that, or how can I help this person get on a path to make their life better? I mean, my job is a whole different story that I used to do. That's a whole different episode. The one thing, once again, somebody has to advocate, and I'll leave it there.
And people, that don't mean, and I just really want to express this to people, that don't mean that you're going to change a person. That don't mean that you try to convert a person to your way of thinking. The best thing that you can do for somebody that's going through something is try to understand before being understood. Once you have an understanding, once you're able to communicate with them in their language, then you can get a better understanding of what they need to be more productive in society. You know what I'm saying? You don't always have to, because sometimes people think, no, look, I did this, this, and this. This all you got to do. No, that's all you had to do. That person probably needs to prepare mentally first.
Right.
They need to get to that point. And in order to help them or try to show them the way, sometimes you just need to listen and try to get an understanding.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But
absolutely.
Oh man, I
know.
Anyway,
let's lighten up the mood. Let's lighten up the mood a little bit.
So we go to again, this is usually our what the fuck you meme segment is about a funny ass meme. Again, memes have basically turned into posts to me. So Coco posted something the other day and asked, hey, is there still a woman code in place?
It's called girl code, thank you.
Girl code. And then, you know, we have man code too, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to know, what is the girl code?
Well, for all my homegirls out there, we've all been through the trenches together. What's that movie, The Town? Is it the Town, the one where Ben Affleck and the guy was talking, and he told the guy, like, hey, we about to do something. I really can't talk about it. I can't remember how he phrased it.
They were getting ready to rob
some people,
money trap.
Some people might get hurt or whatever. And my boy was like, basically, I'm with it, right?
Right.
That's kind of like with my best friends. Like when I was in the service, girl code was stellar. It was like you didn't mess with nobody, man. Bro, no bros. How do we say it? You didn't let a man get in between you. You didn't, you let your girl know the truth. Like, look, I'm not gonna let you go out there looking a damn hot mess. Like, let's get your ass together. No. That dress ain't. We not gonna sit here and tell you that look good and it don't.
Yeah. And if your homegirl saw someone who was attractive, who they thought was attractive, you automatically you don't fuck with that person.
You don't fuck with them.
Even if she's not involved with that person, if she feels like that person is attractive, that's not who you go for.
Yes.
Damn, y'all codes are strict, because I don't think I don't think the man code goes that deep to where it's just like, oh, I think she fine, so you just like, oh, well, I'm not gonna talk to her. I don't think that shit working in the man code.
It should.
It
No,
should
I'm saying
because
it's like you have to actually have contact or some kind of rapport with this
Nah.
woman for a man to be
If
like,
my homegirl say she thinks somebody fine,
that
mm-mm.
it's off limits.
She
If he
off
try to
now,
limits.
come kick it with
even
me,
if she
it's
don't
off limits.
holler, even if
Even if
she
she
don't
don't holler
She
holler,
at
don't
him.
holler.
Yep.
damn.
It's
So
off
what if
limits.
what if that's your one?
What
Because
if?
guess what?
You'll
Because
never
guess what?
fucking know.
Here's the thing though. So you meet a dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you show your girls the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, damn, he fine as hell.
No, that's different. Here's
No, but it goes back. She would
No,
have thought he was fine when you first met him.
it's
no.
just
I'm not
certain.
saying
It's
like say if Coco so 01, right?
right.
I would never cross that boundary whether they were together or they're not.
Not
If I ever said that he was attractive, here's how you watch people too. Oh, he fine as hell, Coco versus oh, Coco, he's nice looking.
mm-hmm.
That's it. It ain't no description on him. It's no, you don't go further than that. You don't do
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Well, I
It's so
get
funny
that.
because
I get that
we
though.
had that conversation as
But
even
even
as
if she's
friends.
not dealing with him,
Mm-hmm.
no.
And it's so funny because we had that
No no.
conversation,
It's a fucking no no.
and he said to me like it's almost like we're not bros, but we're cool. So it's like, well, you know not to cross this line, I know not to cross that line, and even like
Exactly.
with my girlfriends, like it's some bitches out there that's waiting for your downfall for real.
In a heartbeat,
In a
Coco.
heartbeat. Now, let me tell y'all, when I was in the military, I learned the true meaning of girl code. Like, I remember being in situations where either it was fight or flight, you either with me or you were against me.
Yeah.
I remember being in a situation where, bitch, we don't leave the club. Everybody leaving in this bitch together.
All together. Nobody is
We
left
came in
behind.
this bitch together, we leaving together.
We all
Ain't
going to
nobody
pee
leaving.
together.
Yes. That's the
For
kind of
real,
shit we
I'm
do.
serious.
Hey, dog, hey, where you going with my girl?
Yep.
No, dog, it ain't none of that.
I need to see the person's face that you're leaving with. If you are leaving with someone, I need to know where he lives. All that shit. I need his
I
full
totally get.
address. And
Girl
I might
code
take a
saved
picture
my.
of his license plate.
Yes, we used to do that. Girl code saved my life. Let me tell y'all. One time, me and my ex, we had got into it, right? I used to like the club back in the army days. So my homegirl from Maryland, shout out to Rich. We went to the club, and that night, I remember this African guy was hollering at me, and she came to me. She said, "Locke, I think I saw your husband." I'm like, "Girl, no, he at home with the kids." She's like, "No, girl, I think that was your husband." Girl, no. And then I had a flash where I thought I saw myself, and I'm like, "That's just the alcohol." That nigga was in there. Matter of fact, that nigga was so much in there that he drugged my ass out the club, like on some real drug my ass out the club shit. And
No.
we was outside arguing. And I remember this dude came up to me and said, hey man, quit hollering at that girl. He was like, hey, yo, man, that's my wife. The guy was like, okay, man. And backed off. My homegirls came and got me. They took my ass away from that club, and they made sure they took me to a safe place.
Yeah.
And
that's girl code too.
that's
Yeah.
girl code.
For
Now,
sure.
was I wrong?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, because I ain't had no business talking to that fat African. That African man was talking to me. Woo, that African man was fat.
And you was talking back.
I sure was looking in the corner. My ex over there looking like Jason and shit disappearing and back. But we looked out because we never would leave. It was just some shit you didn't do. I remember it's just so many things I remember being in the service that taught me how to be a good friend.
Yeah.
Because we were over in a different country, so we had to look out for each other. We had to look out for each other because we knew that we was around a bunch of niggas. and we was about a bunch of foreigners, so we had to have each other back. But see, you also got some more snake ass bitches too.
Yeah.
You got some bitches that will smile in your face. You got some bitches that will come to your house.
Oh goodness.
That you would say, "Hey girl, you got put out, you got evicted again, girl. Come over here with them childrens." You take her and the children's in the house. Now she trying to walk around half naked and shit while your man in the house, and it's like, come on, bitch, you know better than that. That's the kind of shit a real bitch don't do.
Listen though, dude.
So what's the guy code, Fatt?
Well, for one, like I remember before I had a homeboy and I had never met his girl. This back in the day. And we were at an event and this woman walked in, she's fine as hell. I was like, damn, she fine as hell. He like, oh, that's my baby mama. She instantly just, I ain't gonna say she wasn't fine, but that didn't matter
she instantly
to me
got ugly to you.
It was it's like there was a connection there. We've never been in a situation where we just like, oh, if anything, dudes stand in the room and be like, she fine. I bet I get her before you, nigga. Like that's how dudes think.
What?
But yeah, he like, nigga, I think she fine too. I'm about to shoot my shot.
We don't think women don't. I guess women don't do that. I don't know.
Listen, dudes, I will say this.
Some women don't do that.
Dudes make shit complicated though. That's the one thing that I've never felt. Like you will have a dude that you know, that's your man's, and he have a girl.
Okay.
But he be on some slick shit, but then he'll have his girl becoming friends with the niggas in the circle. And then when some shit happens, or he get caught up on some slick shit, his girl is comfortable enough to say, oh, what's popping with that? So that's why I'd be quick to tell a nigga, I don't want to hang with your girl.
Right.
Like if you want some bullshit, I don't want to hang with your girl. Don't I don't need to know about your bullshit, especially being a grown man. Hey, do you? But nigga, I don't need to know. And you trying to make me cool with your girl. I don't want to be cool with your girl.
But here's the thing. I was in a situation where I came into like a family situation, right? And at the time when I was in the situation, me and said person was trying not to let people know that we were a couple. We were just like on this friendship. We didn't want people to know. And then the awkward time came where one of said person's friends tried to holler at me. And it finally had to come out. But the thing was, we were always together, not only because we were a couple, but because we both did music, right? And I think too, the way that a person conducts themselves, I think the way they carry themselves in front of your friends. If you're a lady and you carry yourself as such, niggas will be respectful. Because I got to be real honest. The whole time I was in my relationship, I did not have, I could probably count on one hand how many niggas tried to be disrespectful. It's all about the way that the woman carries herself. But if you got a woman that's extra friendly, that want to hug on everybody, that want to always come around with her titties and her ass out, that's when you might have to start asking some questions.
I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about for the aspect of like your woman could be cool. Like your woman could come around, hang with us, kick it, chop it up, whatever the case may be. Could be cool. But then you decide to get on some other shit and get, I've had niggas bring other chicks around me. Like, because hey, you know what I'm saying? So then when it comes to a situation,
yikes,
and this chick walks up in a place or comes somewhere and be like, what's up, Fats? Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh,
so
now
so
it
you're in
seems,
the middle of the bullshit.
Now it seems as if we're acquainted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that's, I guess I say all that to say, shit, the code has to be customized at some point. Because I'd be like, look, nigga, I don't want to hang with your girl. I don't want to hang with your
I got a
wife.
question though. I got a question, Fats. It's always that one nigga in the pack. I witnessed it. Me and a bunch of friends went to a room to just hang out one night. And it's that one guy, that one motherfucker that always show up with a different bitch. And you be like, because I ain't gonna lie, we used to be whispering, hey, the girl he was with last time. But we know that ain't the main one. And it's uncomfortable. And I always wondered, like with women, we notice that shit quick. Do we not, Jackie?
Yeah, we do.
We notice that shit quick. And then you looking at your gal like, you and this nigga be hanging out together.
I always believe that birds of a feather flock together. I've witnessed husbands out with other women. And if my husband is friends with you, I automatically assume like, oh, this is what y'all do. This how y'all hang out.
You know what though? That's definitely not true because I know some dudes who get around. And I would be quick to, my thing is, and look, here's the funny part.
But see, you're probably the friend that will say something.
But listen,
if they don't have friends that'll say something to them about it, then what?
You can talk to any of my homeboys who I really hang with, like Lovejoy, anybody, and they will tell you that I have a signature line that I say whenever we're out. Like if somebody said, damn, she bad, I always say, it's fucked up, she might have herpes.
I'm using that the next time I go out with my friends.
And then they be like, man, here you go with that bullshit. And I'd be like,
it's
yo,
the truth though.
That's real though, because
it's real.
You can
or
have
chlamydia
on
or a trick.
Yeah, you can have the flyest outfit, the dopest makeup, the prettiest face, the nicest hair, and have that tainted thing downstairs.
Not a tainted thing.
That tainted thing.
The tainted twang.
Hey, and that herpes don't go away. That's that die guy. That's gonna be with you. That's gonna be with you to the end.
Forever. The gift that keeps giving, baby.
Yeah, that's that magic. That's that Magic Johnson. No, Magic done cleared his shit.
Magic Johnson no longer has it.
He had enough money to buy away AIDS.
Right.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about a girl code story when I was in my 20s. So when I got home from the service, my best friends, my ex-husband was the cousin of my best friend, and that's how I met him. And one night we went to Greektown. And y'all, this is when I had my post-military body and I was wearing move-something dresses and just a hot goddamn mess, but was fat as hell.
Not the post-military body.
Oh, baby, the pow. Like I was getting up running and shit every morning. This is when I was in my 20s, Fats. Go with it. I had the bob and shit and the red 90s lipstick and shit. It was all good. But I was broken because I was going through something with my ex-husband. So my ex-husband was seeing this chick, and me and his cousin and another girlfriend, we went out to y'all remember Trapper's Alley?
Hell yeah. I used to go down there for the fudge show.
Okay. So we went down to Trapper's Alley one night, got drunk. I'm walking around because I'm determined to let somebody know, bitch, I'm bad, I'm here. But what happened in that was we got to drinking that E&J.
Not Irk and Jerk.
Not
It was the 90s. It was the 90s, people. Just go with it. No judgment. No judgment.
Make you do some horrible things.
It did. And I didn't know about the wine yet. But anyway, that night on the way home, because we went out because I was sad. And I said to Sandy, when we got like midway home, I told her, pull up in this apartment complex. Now, my girlfriend, who is my husband's cousin, she knew good goddamn well we weren't supposed to pull up in there, but she did it. I was driving my car because I was drunk. I said, go down there and just keep going. She said, you sure? I said, bitch, just drive. So then she started thinking about it. Like, should we be doing this? Because I was going to start some shit. Y'all, we hit a speed bump. I jumped out that car. I went running to the house and I started up some shit. Now, my girlfriend was put in a difficult situation because that's her cousin, but I'm her homegirl. We came to that bitch together. We gonna leave from that bitch together. She had my back and she rode with me, but the next day she told me about myself. So I want to say this to say, we can have each other's back and we can have blind loyalty, but sometimes you got to let a person know what they doing. And I was fucked up what I did because, baby, I was acting a fool. I called the apartment complex, told her she had a married man instead, because I was young and I was hurt.
What? You told what?
What?
I called, she had Section 8, so I called the apartment complex and told her that she had a married man staying in her house and he wasn't part of her income.
First of all, you just you pulled the hold on, what was it? You pulled the Claudine?
That's
you
so
called
damn fucked up.
You called it and said she was dating the garbage man.
How about my ex-husband was a garbage
man? Man, well, hey.
But it's just and here's the thing about girl code. We've all done some stuff because when I was in Germany, babe, I'm surprised I never got in trouble. But here's the thing. If you're truly girls, you can correct one another. Now, we might go out and do some sketchy shit. Shit, I done got the call, bitch, put on black, meet me outside, just come on to the car. We about to go do this run. I've done it. I didn't roll blindly. I didn't know we was going to put a fish in somebody's car, nails in their tire. I mean, allegedly, all these things when I was in my younger days, because we felt like we didn't have nobody but us, so we had to look out for each other. But as we got older, girl code changed. Girl code.
Yeah, because that was some psycho shit.
No, that was some sketchy shit, and I was with
that's
the
some
shit.
Psycho shit, Coco. I ain't
don't judge me.
I'm about to keep it 100.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever threw black on and rolled out.
You putting on black, if a motherfucker
call you man, you on your own with that shit.
If a motherfucker call you and say, put on black and just come to the car, and you end up putting fish and nails in the nigga tire, you a tad bit touched.
When my girlfriend, my girlfriend Jody saw a grumpy old man. And she went and bought fish and said, we about to put this fish in this nigga car. I said, wow. She said, this is shit. I was with it.
You killed the fish?
No, she went and bought fish from the commissary. And we decided to go. And she got some sardines too. Because he lied.
She got dead. Dead or alive?
Dead.
Do it really matter? You bought fish.
Yes.
To take. No, it's all psycho.
But I want to distinguish.
I'm not destroying nobody's shit. I'm not.
Man. Now I wouldn't. Now I wouldn't.
Broke up shit and bust window. I'm not doing all
I
that.
never busted a window. But did I? Or did I? Did I do a window?
On that note, we're about to get the hell up out of here. Coco is trying to remember whether or not did she ever bust window. Listen,
but I just gotta say this, Fats. But here's the thing: 20 years later, girl code changed when we grew up. Girl code changed to, instead of being out here acting like we putting on our designer nigga suits, to let me see if you're okay. Let me see if it's something I can do. Let me pray with you. Or let me come over here and help you with some healing. Here's some crystals. When I went through my breakup, my best friend, who I was doing a lot of my sketchy shit with, who drove the Regal that night when I hopped out, came over to my house
And y'all was
with
in a Regal? What kind of
it
y'all?
was a good one. It was a nice Regal, honey. My mama gave to me when I got out the service. Thank you very much.
No, I'm
They
talking
had
about the
the
Regal is that drive back car.
no, this was a nice Regal. This was the
Oh, like a
it was like a
Somerset Regal.
yeah.
Okay.
Somerset Regal.
But and I want to end it by saying that was growth with us because in our younger days, somebody had to be the voice of reason. But as we grew older and became women with grown children, instead of saying, girl, let's ride down on this nigga and do a yeah, bitch, yeah. Y'all know about the yeah, bitch, yeah, bitch, yeah. When you drive around the neighborhood and the girl like, why she keep driving? We didn't do that shit. Yeah, bitch, yeah. What you gonna do? Fuck that nigga.
I don't think I've ever had that experience.
You ain't do the yeah, bitch, yeah.
Cared enough about somebody to do a drive by.
Yeah.
Girl, I had fun. But and I say this because it needs to be said, when my friends showed up, they showed out, and it was in a different form. Yeah. And it was in the form of healing, prayer, and checking on me.
Yeah. That's for real girl code.
And that's how I knew
it's
that these were my girlfriends.
Bitch, get out the bed. Put your clothes on.
Oh, these bitches, honey, I had a moment. These bitches came knocking at my door. So let me in. And I needed that.
Yeah.
And it just showed the growth that we had through the years, because hurt people. So doing all that dumb shit was stupid in my 20s. But
that was in your 20s. So I mean, I get it. And girl code is also, don't give away the secrets that your girls tell you. The shit that you that people are brave enough to expose to you. Don't say that to other people.
Yeah.
That there should be a code.
Don't take my vulnerability. Yeah, that vulnerability is really important. And I just want to say to those people who were there, thank you. Because if it wasn't for some of y'all, I probably don't know if I would have made it through that period of my life when I really was down. But girl called at that point, and they still call me and check on me and make sure I'm okay and make sure I'm not making dumb decisions or doing stupid shit. But that is truly what girl code is when you grow.
Absolutely.
Word. Yep. And yeah, that I think that go both ways with the men too. Like, I mean, we should be able to kick it with each other, and it's between us. If we say it's between us, it's between us. And
I'm not crazy. Just so that you know, I just made bad choices.
One dope thing that I do think about how men operate is a lot of times we don't even have to say what we going through, but we peep what each other is going through. And I know me personally, I try to help as much as I can without making a person feel a certain way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be quick to call it, because, you know, men 9 times out of 10, a prideful man, he not gonna take your money. You know what I'm saying?
The hell he won't.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about
I know
the people I hang around, because, you know, you are the average of the top 5 people you hang around. So the top 5 people that I hang around, that we damn near we have morals, and they wouldn't straight up take it. So I do shit like, here, this for the baby. What, you not gonna take it for the baby? This is for the baby.
Yeah.
Buy the baby something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Again, that goes back to God. What can I do for you? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. But I think we done overstayed our welcome. So
okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you good. That was good conversation.
Very good.
I feel like I was in therapy and I got all my misdeeds out.
No, you are good.
We got way more to go.
Yes, indeed. I just want to say, people, if y'all want to reach out, y'all want to send us an email, topic suggestions, any suggestions. I feel like this is our show, but this is the people show. And we want to
Yeah.
be able to bring anything to the floor that you feel like would be worth having a discussion about. And you can holler at us at Two Queens and a Fat Guy Podcast at Gmail. Or you can reach out to us on Facebook at Two Queens and a Fat Guy Podcast. Or you can holler at us on IG at Two Queens and a Fat Guy, and Twitter, two Q's. This is always funny to me because when I went to lock down the name for this, it just was hoeing me. Like, oh, that's taken, that's taken, that's
No.
taken. So the shit is TWOQSANDAFGUYPC. That's on Twitter at two Q's and a F guy PC. So you can holler at us there too. Um, Meanwhile, we want y'all to stay safe. Uh, I want you to wake up tomorrow, ask God what you can do for God. Now,
Amen.
if you're not a believer like that, I'm not tying this to no religion. I'm not tying this to what I believe or what you believe. Whatever you believe, even if you believe you just appeared here from science, wake up and ask science, what can I do for you, science? Whatever you believe in, just know that you're here for a reason and you're here for a purpose. As long as there's people out there and other people, you can do things to make their day better, make their life better. As long as you have the power and the choice to make decisions, simply saying hello, you look nice, how are you doing today? The simplest
Compliment goes a
things.
long way.
We all
Yeah.
have that power. No matter what you believe in, no matter what color your skin is, we all have that power, especially for children. Because I remember being a young kid and my aunt telling me that I should be a singer because I was singing a Keith Washington song off of the Boomerang soundtrack. And when I tell you, I know I can't sing, I know I can't sing a lick. But when my auntie told me that, I felt so
You felt like
amazing
a
and
star
I
that
felt
day.
like a
Yeah.
star.
Aww.
So
Yeah.
just remember, you can touch somebody's life in a positive way. So
That's
with
right.
that being said, we go holler at y'all on the next go round.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
I ain't lying, homie. I'm only telling the truth. I ain't lying, homie.